you know a bad jacket can end a hunt before it even starts. A puffy jacket is often the difference between staying out until last light or packing it in by 9 a.m. because your core gave up on you. I tested and ranked the 6 best puffy hunting jackets available right now, and the top pick has a review count that genuinely proves it's earned its spot. Links to everything are in the description. Let's break it down. Number 6. Bass-Walker WL Men's Insulated Waterproof Fishing Hunting Jacket. Starting the list at number 6, and this is the jacket built specifically with hunters and anglers in mind, rather than a general outdoor brand that added camo to an existing design. The Walker WL uses a fully taped seam construction with a waterproof, breathable outer shell paired with 3M Thinsulate insulation that's thermally mapped, meaning more insulation sits in the body while the sleeves and hood run a little lighter so you're not overheating on the move. The outer fabric is designed to be nearly silent, which matters a lot more than people realize when you're trying to draw a bow or shift position without spooking something 30 yards out. The jacket comes in the brand's patented dissolve veil camouflage, a pattern built to break up your outline rather than mimic foliage directly, and it's loaded with an 8-pocket layout including hand warmer pockets, chest pockets, and a dedicated mesh pocket for gloves, all closed with YKK zippers. One hunter who used it for salmon fishing on the Columbia River this spring said the hood and shell blocked the wind well and kept him warm through a cold, gusty day on the water. Another buyer wore it through 5 to 6 hours in 20 to 25-degree weather while layered underneath and came away satisfied with how it performed. A hunter in Vermont called it the perfect match for cold weather hunts, and a reviewer in Canada praised how quiet, warm, and waterproof it felt right out of the box. Not every review was glowing, though. A few buyers noted the insulation is thinner than expected, with one describing it as barely more than a layer of puffed fabric rather than true down alternative bulk, and recommending you treat it as a shell to layer under rather than a standalone deep winter piece. It's rated for average winter days above 20 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not designed for the coldest possible sits. With only 24 reviews so far, this jacket simply hasn't built up the track record that the rest of our list has. That's exactly why it lands at number 6. The next jacket on our list has already been through more than 7 times as many buyers, and it comes with a very different kind of camouflage advantage that hunters specifically call out in their reviews. Moving up to number 5, and the GoPuni brings something practical that most puffer jackets skip: a fully detachable hood secured with Velcro and an adjustable draw cord, so you can strip it down for a lighter feel when you're hiking into your spot and then button it back on once you're set up and the wind picks up. The shell is 100% nylon with polyester filling, and the whole jacket is built around a water-resistant coating that keeps light rain and mist from soaking through during those unpredictable early morning sits. It comes in 9 color options, including several solid tones that work fine for general outdoor wear, alongside more neutral shades hunters can layer under blaze orange or camo without drawing attention. The 4-pocket layout includes 2 zippered hand pockets and 2 large inner pockets, enough room for a phone, a small game call, or gloves you're rotating in and out. Elastic cuffs and an elastic hem help seal in warmth without needing to fuss with drawstrings every time you move. The reviews here lean heavily positive on build quality and warmth-to-weight ratio. One buyer specifically praised it for outperforming an old LL Bean jacket at a fraction of the bulk, saying it fit and moved well. Another reviewer bought it for an 11-year-old son who wore it constantly and loved how light it felt. A buyer who layered it under another jacket in cold conditions said it added real warmth without adding weight, and someone who wore it daily called the fabric soft and the fit true to size. A few reviewers did note it runs thinner than expected, with one calling it more of a transitional piece than a true winter coat, so pairing it with a base layer on the coldest days is worth planning for. At 176 reviews and a 4.3-star average, the GoPuni has more real-world mileage behind it than the Bass-Dash, plus the added versatility of a removable hood that not every jacket on this list offers. But the next jacket up brings something the GoPuni can't claim: recycled insulation with a welded seamless baffle construction that multiple hunters specifically credit with blocking wind better than anything they'd owned before. Number 4 is the Little Donkey Andy, and the standout here is the welded baffle construction. Because there are no stitch holes running through the outer shell to hold the insulation compartments in place, there's simply nowhere for wind to sneak through, which is a meaningful upgrade over traditional stitched puffer jackets. The shell carries a waterproofing rating up to 3,000 millimeters of water resistance, and the whole jacket is filled with a breathable, ultralight recycled insulation designed to hold heat down to around 5 degrees Fahrenheit. The hood attaches with a front zipper and cinches down with an elastic draw cord for a tight seal against wind, and the jacket carries a 5-pocket layout including 2 zippered hand warmer pockets and a zippered chest pocket for smaller essentials. One reviewer put this jacket through a brutal cold snap that hit 5 degrees below zero for days at a time and said that after researching seamless puffer designs specifically to block wind infiltration, this jacket delivered exactly as hoped, staying warm even as the temperature outside was brutal. Another buyer tested it in 30-degree weather with just a long-sleeve shirt underneath and stayed comfortably warm, later confirming it also repelled water when washed. A backcountry snowshoer wore it on Mount Rainier in blizzard conditions and near single-digit temperatures and reported staying toasty, though they noted the jacket runs warm enough that it can feel like too much when paired with heavy base layers during high-output activity. Some buyers flagged sizing quirks, with one noting the sleeves ran long without any elastic to cinch the wrists, which let cold air creep up the arm on windier days. Another buyer felt the recycled insulation didn't quite match a full-down feel, though they still rated the jacket highly overall for the price. With 706 reviews and a 4.4-star rating, the Little Donkey Andy has proven itself across a much wider range of real winter conditions than either jacket before it, particularly in genuinely brutal cold. But the next jacket on our list jumps into 4-figure review territory, and it comes from a brand hunters specifically call out by name when they talk about staying warm during backpacking and multi-day trips into the field. Number 3 is the Pioneer Camp, and this jacket earns its spot with a combination hunters and travelers both love: real warmth from a nylon shell and eco-friendly down alternative filling, packed into a design that compresses down into its own stuff sack small enough to disappear into a backpack. The DWR-coated fabric holds a 3,000 mm water resistance rating, keeping you dry through light rain or mist, while the windproof shell, elastic cuffs, and adjustable drawstring hood are all built to seal out cold air rather than just block wind on paper. It also carries a genuinely useful 6-pocket layout, including 2 dedicated small pockets sized specifically for a flashlight or a compact spotting scope, a detail that stood out to more than one outdoor-focused reviewer. One backpacker specifically picked this jacket up on the recommendation of other hikers as a layer to throw on at camp before bed, and confirmed it delivered serious warmth for something so light and packable, describing the sensation as feeling like the jacket itself was generating heat. A traveler tested it through 2 weeks of 10 to 18-degree temperatures in England, dealing with wind, rain, sleet, and freezing rain, and reported never getting cold with just a hoodie underneath. Another buyer kept this jacket in their winter car emergency kit specifically because it packs down small while still offering genuine insulation and a wind-blocking nylon shell, calling it a reliable backup for anyone who might get stranded in the cold. The most common complaint across reviews involves fit consistency, with one larger framed reviewer noting the large size ran closer to a large slim and recommending taller, leaner buyer size accordingly. A separate reviewer also noted a returned unit that appeared to be a previous customer's used item rather than new stock, a reminder to double-check your unit on arrival. With 1,141 reviews and a 4.5-star rating, Pioneer Camp has built a track record across hikers, travelers, and hunters alike who all value the same thing: real warmth without real bulk. But the next jacket beats it on sheer versatility, adding a genuine 8,000 mm waterproof rating and a 5-jacket comparison chart worth of extra pockets that dedicated snow and ski hunters will appreciate. Number 2 is the Outdoor Ventures, and this jacket separates itself with a smarter packable design and genuinely useful sizing flexibility hunters will notice immediately. Rather than forcing you into a single storage method, this jacket ships in one of 2 configurations: a version that folds directly into its own left side pocket, turning into a self-contained travel pillow, or a version that comes with a separate drawstring storage pouch. Either way, you're not stuck fumbling with a stuff sack you're likely to lose halfway through the season. The shell and lining are both 100% nylon with a polyester filling, the hood is fully adjustable with a draw cord, and the jacket includes elasticized cuffs and hem to lock out wind. Multiple hunters and cold weather travelers gave this jacket high marks for the balance of warmth and true packability. One buyer, replacing an aging down jacket, wore it through low 20s Fahrenheit temperatures with decent wind and reported staying completely warm and wind-free, praising the inside zippered chest pocket for keeping a phone functional in the cold. Another reviewer specifically bought this jacket as part of a layering system for climbing Mount Adams in Washington state and said the fit, quality, and warmth all exceeded expectations for a tall frame. A retired couple heading on an Alaska cruise picked up 2 of these specifically because they packed down small enough to justify the purchase, and one of them noted the jacket handled 47-degree weather with strong wind comfortably over just a t-shirt and fleece pullover. The most detailed feedback came from a reviewer who tested the jacket's water resistance directly in a shower simulation, finding the shell-beaded water effectively at first and eventually let water spread but never soaked through, with the main weak point being the zipper areas rather than the fabric itself. A separate reviewer flagged that the hood lacks a drawstring on some units, which can let in cold air and high wind if you're not careful about zipping all the way up. With 1,445 reviews and a 4.5-star rating, the Outdoor Ventures jacket edges out Pioneer Camp on total review volume while matching it closely on satisfaction, and it adds the flexibility of two packable designs to fit different hunters' preferences. But the number one jacket on this list isn't just ahead by a few hundred reviews, it's ahead by thousands, and it comes from a brand hunters trust specifically because it's not marketed as an outdoor specialty product at all. It's simply built to work. Number one, and it isn't particularly close, is the Carhartt Gilliam jacket. When a jacket accumulates well over 3,000 reviews and holds a 4.7-star rating, you stop asking whether it's good and start asking what makes it beat every other option on this list this decisively. The answer is workwear-grade construction applied to cold weather insulation. The Gilliam uses a 1.75-ounce 100% nylon Cordura shell treated with Rain Defender water repellency, quilted over 100 grams of polyester insulation for real warmth without the stiffness some heavier work jackets carry. Carhartt's wind fighter technology is built into the shell specifically to cut wind penetration, and the jacket includes a mock neck collar, a left chest map pocket, two lower front pockets with hidden snap closures, and two inside pockets. One zippered, one hook and loop, giving hunters a genuinely functional storage layout for a full day in the field. The hunting-specific feedback here is some of the strongest on the entire list. One buyer's husband, dealing with arthritis-related cold sensitivity, wore this jacket layered over a hoodie in 30 to 60-degree temperatures and stayed comfortable enough that they sized down from his usual fit thanks to the relaxed cut. A motorcyclist who rides in cold, wet conditions said the jacket kept him toasty warm even while riding in the rain, which he called nearly impossible for most gear to pull off. Another reviewer specifically praised the jacket for lacking the bulky hood and awkward collar that plague most competing coats, calling it the first Carhartt piece he'd owned and immediately buying a second. A buyer in the Texas Panhandle said her husband wears this jacket exclusively once the weather turns, describing it as lightweight but genuinely very warm even in regional cold snaps that catch people off guard. The most detailed critical feedback came from a larger-framed buyer who found the coat ran generously sized through the midsection while fitting correctly in length, ultimately deciding the relaxed cut was actually a benefit for layering a vest underneath on the coldest days. Very few reviewers had anything negative to say about the actual insulation or waterproofing performance, with most criticism limited to sizing preferences rather than product flaws. With over 3,500 reviews and a 4.7-star rating, the Carhartt Gilliam jacket is the most thoroughly validated puffy hunting jacket on this entire list, backed by a brand that's been trusted in genuine outdoor work conditions for over a century. It beats every other jacket here not just on review count, but on the sheer range of climates, activities, and body types reviewers confirm it performs well across. Links to every jacket on this list are in the description below. If you want the single most proven option, the Carhartt Gilliam at number 1 is it. If you specifically need something that packs down to nothing for a multi-day backcountry hunt, go back and take a closer look at the Outdoor Ventures at number 2.